Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in to check out your boy. Peace from Thinking Right out here in the lab. Where I do what I do for you in the wee hours of the morning. Just like I like it, nothing but the crickets. Let's go. Writing 25 rules live by storytelling. Story with a message and story for life. I give you life lessons. You tune in and receive them. I'm hoping they're working out for you. Let's go. Right thinking mission is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right thinking is way of life through mental and spiritual discipline daily will help and guide you to obtain your goal of reaching spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. That's my mission for my right thinkers, to get you to do just that. Know yourself. It's a beautiful thing. Know thyself. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. Don't be them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple. I can teach them. That's why I do what I do. It's all for you. Stay tuned. I got you. A person who knows not and believe that they know, dangerous, avoid them. I do. A person who knows but knows not that they know is asleep. I can awaken them with spiritual knowledge, aka I'm the spiritual alarm clock. With knowledge of self, I can wake you up. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers know thyself. And to my be true. You gotta keep the balance in your life. And speaking of balance in life, which we talk about, it's all important. Let's talk about, right thinkers, let's talk about the brain of the spirit of the brain. Or aka spiritual brain. Your spirit has knowledge, aka brain. Let's talk about that. Most people say, what? The spirit has a brain? Yep, it does. It's spirit that is in everything that has life, aka nature, man, cosmos. Okay? Every entity that God created has his spirit, aka life. The spirit has intellect, consciousness. Remember that? He's all conscious, he all know. All this is brain. To create life and sustain it with what? Knowledge. We have consciousness. That's spirit. With what? Brain function to do what? Think right. You got the ability to create your own world. You got the ability to find out who you are. You have the ability to do all these things through what you say. Christ who strengthens you. I say with knowledge of self, that strengthens me. No offense. Okay? Again, I just have different perspective. No disrespect to one that you follow or the one you like. No disrespect. Just the one I follow. The one I like. Alright? My spirit, watch this, is in control now. Why? Because I'm conscious of myself. So it's a mental thing now. Once the heart and mind makes the connection, you're spiritually endowed, aka you awaken to yourself. Now you know who you are spiritually, so mentally you can do the things you need to do. Heart, mind, coherence. Heart, mind, coherence is a spiritual brain, is the spirit brain when it meets the human brain. The heart has a consciousness. The heart has a brain bigger than the one that's in your head. Scientists have proven that. Your boy Gray Brayton tells about it all the time. I'm not impressed. Why? I already knew that the heart is where everything lies. That's why. Okay, here you go. The spirit is the strongest force known to man. We call it God. It's spirit. Without spirit, there is no life. All inanimate objects would not exist. We as human beings would not exist. Spirit is life, nature, all those things that is here is here by the spirit brain. Spirit is life, nature, and the cosmos, all ran by the same spirit brain, aka God. Love is a spiritual, emotional concept. Why? For most thinkings, most of us think and feel love. We see something, we think we love it. You feel, you want to have it. You want to have, make love to things that you love. Yeah, but you ain't got to make love physically to everything you love. That's the problem that we have with that love concept. We slinging love around like this, the Spez dispenser. I love you. I love you. Moving on. I got spiritual love for everybody. I make it simple. Spirit, aka the force, is real. If you think not, George Lucas is making a fortune off of it, and we ain't even acknowledging it, and it's ours. But we'll go see it. I love Star Wars. I love Star Wars. Hey, I love you. Yeah. Do you see yourself in any of that? Because that's where he got it from. He didn't even tell you. I went to Egypt and stole the concept of the force. Luke, use the force. Good and evil, classic. He just dressed it up so everybody's all into it because you got aliens. You got good game, George. Kudos to you. You getting that off. Here you go. Right thinking philosophy teaches you to what? Tap into what? Your higher self. That's all spiritual and mental concepts. We have two things that the brain does. It remembers and it imagines. Somewhere along there, you got to find that balance so you can distinguish between the two. That's Anubis. They call it discernment. Another lesson. But you need to be able to do that for yourself because spirit is life. The mind, brain, watch this, and the spirit is what? The force, aka nature. We never see God, but you have all God's emanations all over the place. They say God is here on earth, man don't recognize him because we take for granted the sun. We take for granted everything that God put here for us to enjoy. And the ancients respected, the Native Americans respected. That other guy, not so much. Okay. To be omnipresent, all-knowing, you need what? Brain, spirit. That's all God represents. With that, you can create a world. The spirit that created the world and everything in it lies in you. Let that marinate for a while. For example, is every drop of water from the ocean part of the ocean? I'll wait. Yes. You are where you come from. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. The body is human. The spirit is immortal. Keep it calm. I'm working on it. These are lessons. I like to give a lesson. Sometimes I get caught up in the lesson myself because that's how much passion I have about what I do. So understand that. All right, here you go. Spirituality is having what? Self-knowledge. Knowing God for yourself is spirituality. Not believing in him. Not having faith in him. No. Knowing him. Why? Because in order for you to be blissed out, meaning you can ooze with the ecstasy, the knowledge of God for yourself, that's how you reach that state of blissed out. Knowing God for yourself. If you just believe in God and hoping and praying, you don't know God for yourself, there's not a personal connection. God is personal. Every individual has a right to be personal with their God. Nature, knowledge, and learning nature, having self-knowledge, and then living it. It's one thing to know. It's one thing to perceive and understand. But if you don't put that third phase in, it's all for naught. Like prayer with no works. God will bless you if you put the work in. He ain't going to answer the prayer of people who ain't putting the work in. You wonder why two people claim to do the same thing. Two people claim to worship God. Same story, Cain and Abel. One was blessed and one wasn't. Why? One was honest and one wasn't. It's just that simple. They gonna dress up good and evil all kinds of ways to get that point across. I'm driving it home like everybody else, but it's all understanding. You got to have balance. You got to know right from wrong. These are things that they laid out for you ancient times. Ain't nothing changed. We just got more ignorant to the fact of what we should be doing. We live in a world right now. We're doing the right thing. You're the bad guy. Figure that one out. I'm moving on. Here you go. Spirit is more than just life. Being spiritual is given to your, being spiritual is given to you at birth. That's your birthright. It's given. It's a given. Your memory is being wiped clean. You don't have no past experience of nothing you did. You're born into the world as a baby. You're going to grow up. You become mentally competent. Hopefully, you'll discover yourself, and that way the spirit will be enlightened, and that's how it gets back to its maker. Conceptually, again. Your birthright of life is to what? By the end of your life, you should know yourself. You're born here to know who you are. Not the name that you're given at birth. That's just identity. Again, that's the ego. You got to get the higher self. The one that don't have a face, that don't have a name. You have to recognize that within yourself. A life of spiritual ignorance, watch this, is a life wasted. The spirit just sits and waits. If you don't activate it, it don't do nothing. It will give you life. It will sustain you. Yeah, it'll wake you up every day and take you anywhere. But what you do with that is your choice. Again, free will. With spiritual awakening, watch this, spiritual knowledge, you know you're what? A God in human form. Jesus knew that. The Christ knew that. Be like Jesus. I ain't got a problem with that. Because if being like Jesus will get you closer to God, being like Jesus will get you knowledge of self, be like Jesus. I ain't got a problem with that. To be spiritually enlightened means what? Your third eye is open. You have inner vision. You know yourself and God to be one. Just like Jesus said, my Father and I are one. I'm about my Father's business. Same thing. So understand it. It's a concept. And if you are a witness, if you are a true believer, if you have knowledge of God, then you are a worker. Why? Because I want other people to know what I know. That's why I teach my thinking philosophy personally. I'm just trying to help other people get to God. I ain't going to run here with a bullhorn. I'm not going to know none of that nonsense. If you want what I got, you're free to come and get it. Tune in and check your boy out. But that's what I do. That's why I do it. Ain't no secret. Transparency is the best thing I know. Here you go. Let me read this down. Oh, I got things to do this morning. All right, where we at? I see what most people don't even look at. That's spiritual. You can talk to me and I'm going to listen, but I'm also sizing you up, checking you out to see where your spirit is. If your spirit ain't vibrating at a high level, I'm going to leave you alone. Trust me, I don't hang around toxic people. I don't hang around with low vibrating people anymore. I'm not no better than nobody else, but as being Haru with knowledge of self, I rise consciously. I'm always on top of my game, so I don't have to worry about the nonsense. I just raise my consciousness. Like the eagle do when the blackbird jump on his back. Ain't no fight, man. I just elevate. Elevate. So when you got an ignorant situation, elevate. Elevate your consciousness. Rise above that situation. Be better. Okay? Maintain your peace. Here you go. You're empowered. Excuse me. No, whoa. Here you go. Okay. Hey, okay, not want to be down here. Okay. Next one. Okay, last one. Excuse me about that. Got a little lost here. All right. With right thinking, philosophy, spiritual knowledge, aka knowledge is power. Knowing thyself is a bad thing, powerful thing. Trust me. You get knowledge along with your spirit, and you become an enlightened being. Walk around like a giant. You big. Why? Because you know who you are. You're not walking around here crowding down and hope nobody recognizes you, hope nobody don't call you out like some fake, phony religious people. I know. They want to act religious one minute and then want to act the fool the next. He sees all. That's why the eye is there. You empower, watch this, you empower your spirit with knowledge of it. And living it daily will show you who you really are. And anybody who's watching will see it in you too. That's the difference, okay? With spiritual knowledge, watch this, I can do all things. Sound familiar? Because knowledge of self is what strengthens me. Your spirit just goes along for the ride. If you don't wake it up, if you don't put some knowledge and you don't put some education, if you don't put in some work to better yourself, the spirit really don't care. It's your call. Last one. My spirit, my spirit brain and my brain works together as one. Hence, the spirit is God, the brain is mine. My brain and my heart come together. God and I are one. And I tell you this concept, when the spirit and the mind is connected as one, when the body ceases to live, the spirit is going to live. But guess what goes with the spirit? Your consciousness. You know who you are when you go to the next level. That's the idea of knowing thyself. The ba is a bird, eagle, with a falcon or hawk, but it has your head on it. That means when it returns home, you going home. You going home. If he's there when I go home, then we'll meet again. That's the concept everybody got by heaven and hell. It ain't changed. The concepts are the same. They just dress up a little different. They present you the same package. Sorry about that. All right, here we go. My spirit brain and my brain working together as one is right thinking philosophy in a nutshell. That's my goal, to get you to have both those things working simultaneously so you can know who you are and be your best self. That's right thinking philosophy in a nutshell. I got more for you, a whole bunch of concepts. I'll be back.